because we're like, well, seeing is believing. No, Toots, believing will drive what you see, right?
Amen. Say that again. Say that again for the people in the back or who had the radio down, because I'm telling you, like that's a game changer. Say that again.
Believing will drive what you see.
Are you ready to take the next best step toward creating a life by design?
Do you feel like there is something more for you, but you're not sure how to get to it?
Welcome to the Momentum Podcast. I'm Molly, your health and mindset coach.
And I'm Lena, your money manifestation coach.
We're here to help women like you, whether you're building a business, scaling a side hustle, or crushing it in your career, take actionable steps towards the life you've always envisioned.
If you're ready to stop playing small and step confidently into the life you're meant to live,
join us on this journey of growth, alignment, and unstoppable momentum. Let's take the next best step together. Welcome back to the Momentum Podcast. Today, we're talking about the messy middle of pivots, those moments when what used to work doesn't fit anymore. Whether it's your identity or your business or your mindset, letting go can feel scary, but it's often the most powerful move you can make.
we're covering everything from identity shifts to breaking the belief that summer has to be slow for your business and how to create momentum even when things feel uncertain. If you've been feeling the nudge to evolve, this one is for you.
Okay, guys. So when we're in growth mode, it almost always requires an identity shift. And sometimes that means letting go of something that you've held on to for years. And so, Lena, I want to talk through a little bit of a recent identity shift that you've had in the last 6, 7 months, where you really had to do some letting go. So tell us a little bit about your personal pivot and identity shift.
Absolutely. So I know that I've talked about this before, but for our new listeners, I actually come from the corporate world and I was in it since I was a puppy. I started so young, laugh all you want. They
Totally.
wouldn't actually allow me to rent a corporate car because I was under 21 and I couldn't drink at those corporate dinners. It was like big mess. Anyway, so I started as a pup and I was in corporate for over 25 years, which is quarter of a century. Now, during my last few years, I started dipping into the coaching career. However, in retrospect, now that I'm thinking about why did it take me several years to transition from my corporate role into running my business full time? And I can tell you exactly why. Because I was holding on to my identity of a corporate leader. And that identity came not only with multiple six-figure salary and company funded stock, it also came with behaviors, it came with perceptions, it came with how I would define what safe was, what productive was, what success meant. So if I had me back then talking to me, we probably would have unpacked it a little sooner. So let me help ground you a little. Because when people say, like, well, let's do identity work, like, roar, roar, what?
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
So let me take you back to 90s. Remember when you graduated from high school?
No, you've just dated us to everybody.
Listen, I talked about being in corporate for a quarter of a century.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
90s were good, 80s were good for your hair, right? So it's all in a level.
Amen, sister.
So remember that senior year in high school? Boy, that was an identity in and of itself, right? Everything
Totally.
about it was pivotal. Like you were literally on a cusp of like that adult life. Parents were extra annoying. Friends were super dear. You were trying to figure out if you're going to hold this relationship to like have this amazing prom or if you're like breaking it now before it's too close. It was a huge identity. And also, you had to let that go following your graduation. it wouldn't have served you past summer 1995. It wouldn't serve you. Because why? Because it no longer fit.
Yeah.
So, guys, this is true for your business as well. I totally get it that when you were first launching your business, making $5,000 a month felt like, oh, like I'm making it big. However, fast forward 3-4 years, and if you're still making 5,000 a month, this is no longer stability. This is stagnation. So, let me tell you something. We are going to be very respectful and grateful for the identity that we have had because it has gotten us here where we are. And also, guess what? You are allowed to change. You're actually encouraged to change. Now, sometimes those pivots are not 180, right? So for me, it was going from corporate to a private sector, and that was a large shift. However, Molly, you had a slightly different experience, and I'm curious if you can share what it meant for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So my identity shift was not a 180. It was more like a 45-degree shift. So for the last 6 year, almost 6 years, I've been a health coach and with a well-known company, and absolutely love doing what I do as a health coach and helping people. But what I started to see as a result of my own growth over the last year is that what I want to do and bring to the world is more than just health coaching. Now, I will always tell you that health is the foundation of anything that you want to do. If you don't have your health, like you're not going to be able to go very far in building your own business because you've got to take care of yourself and your health in order to do the work that you've been called to do. So there's my little soapbox moment there. But as I was growing and pursuing, more around energy work and around manifestation and really tackling some of those limiting beliefs and thoughts that were keeping me stuck, I stumbled across in my own journey other modalities that I believe are so important. And so last summer, while I was writing What the Funk and into the winter and even into early this year, I realized that what I desired was something more than just singular health coaching. What I wanted to do was drive additional transformation in areas where I know that where I know it would be impactful for people who are ready for change. But letting go of that identity as Molly Smith health coach, that that wasn't easy because I had told myself a story about my success. What I was looking to create in my life was only tied to my ability to be a health coach. And so I had to unearth and rewire and debunk some of the stories that I told myself, right? And Lena's famous for saying, is that perception or reality? Right. And it's like, that's my perception. And it's been a long held perception. But I had a deep knowing that what I was meant to do was to help people with their health and also build some emotional awareness and also help people release trapped emotional baggage that they've been holding on to for years. And also um, look and review what they're consuming and how that impacts their thoughts and their beliefs and their actions and their results. And these are all things that were coming about last year as I was in my own growth journey, as I was writing the book. And now I feel like I've made that pivot. Again, it wasn't a I'm not doing this, I'm doing this. It's a I'm doing this and also this. Does that
The
make
and
sense?
life. Yes, it's the and
Yeah.
life. Like we
Yeah.
don't have to choose to the point where it is suffocating.
Yeah.
So good. Well, actually, let's talk about perceptions. I love that topic. Might be even more than limiting beliefs, believe it or not. Because why? Because our perceptions chisel and shape our reality.
Mm.
Okay? It is not the other way around, contrary to the popular belief. Because we're like, well, seeing is believing. No, Toots, believing will drive what you see, right?
Amen. That say that again. Say that again for the people in the back or who had the radio down, because I'm telling you, like that's a game changer. Say that again.
Believing will drive what you see.
Mm-hmm. Oof.
And let me tell you, those of you who are teenagers, when you ask them to go fetch something from the pantry and they're like, it's not here, it's because they have this belief that unless mom goes and gets it, they won't find it. No, you're totally capable of finding that salsa jar. So let me tell you, now that we're approaching the summer, what I am hearing a lot, and Molly, I don't know if you're hearing it from your clients as well. Summer are my slow months.
Oh yeah.
And I
Yeah.
pause because this is a strong perception. And if you spend some time in the spring embodying it and choosing to believe that summer months are your slow months in business, guess what's going to happen in your physical reality? You're going to experience slow summer.
Slow. I've experienced that. That has been a thing in just with the health coaching side of my business. There is that perception, but it is just that. It is just a perception. So what you think, what you believe is what you will manifest. If you believe it's going to be a season of growth and abundance and impact,
Mm-hmm.
you embody that and believe that. Like that is your reticular activating system. Like you are coding yourself to see what it is you are, thinking and believing and so forth. So if it's going to be a season of growth, you got to believe that and then go
Mm-hmm.
do the aligned action around it.
100%. And also, when people say, but my previous summer was slow, but we're not reliving your previous summer. Like,
Correct.
you didn't like your hair back in high school. We're not going to talk about that anymore because you're no longer in high school, right? So just because something has happened in the past, it is not an omen or a code that will now repeat itself seasonably.
Right.
So my suggestion today is imagine if, not what's the worst case scenario. Like you don't need help with that. You got it all covered.
Yeah.
Imagine if your summer becomes your profitable growth period. What if it is the beautiful soil that is going to truly blossom and produce the results in the fall because you chose to believe that you can make summer amazing and fun. Now, I'm not here to tell you that we're going to grind and we're going to work long hours and we're going to cancel summer vacations. That's not what I'm about. Remember, I swear by life by design. And also, what can we do, first of all, with our energy to prepare for a profitable summer? So, for example, Molly and I were just chatting earlier today. We're planning a really incredible collab. And what's amazing about it is that because we're respectful of the energy of the summer, we're making it in a format that is going to allow our clients benefit from it on their terms. Whether it is toes in the sand or sitting by the campfire, it will be completely self-paced on their terms, culminating with something very special by the end of the summer that they will benefit from. So this is just an example how you can be mindful of the schedules and changes of summer routines and also build it as part of your business rather than going like, well, you know what? I'm all done. We're just going to wait for September. What if summer is your most aligned season to grow.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so true. So again, what you believe, what you embody, you are going to put out. So honestly, momentum here starts with awareness and alignment, not more effort. Like you've got to get it right in the head, in the thought, in the belief. And then what comes forth is that aligned action. It's not about hustle. It is not about hustle. So, what does alignment look like for you in this season with your business? What does it look like? Maybe if you're not sure what it does look like, why don't you reflect on your past success? Did you have big seasons in the fall or the spring? Then maybe last summer you didn't. Is that a real trend or is that an assumed pattern? Spoiler alert, it's an assumed pattern. By the
I
way.
love that. I love that
Yeah.
you say that because
Yeah.
like I actually did a whole article in one of the issues of the Force magazine that was around Valentine's season.
Yeah.
And how a lot of businesses feel like, well, that's for chocolatiers, florists, and people in like plush toy business. I'm like, why?
Why?
You can absolutely build in promotions and sales and events around the season of love and appreciation. And
Yeah.
also, you don't have to wait for a national holiday to have a promotion in your business. Like, I don't
That's right.
care. Like, we proclaim it's a national, I don't know, eat a hot dog day, or, it's margarita upside down day. And everybody's like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this holiday. Make up your own holiday and throw a promotion around it. It is
Yeah.
not that deep.
Well, and the reality is that the energy that you put into and that you embody with whatever it is you're doing in your business is what's going to lead. That's what's going to magnetize. That's what's going to bring in the clients and the new follows and the likes and all of those things. It is all about where you are energetically, right? So the other thing to be thinking about is where are you forcing something that maybe you need to surrender, right? Because we're talking about the letting go, the shifting of an identity, whether it is a 180 like Lena did, or more like a 45-degree kind of shift like I did. But this is about looking at, okay, what's serving you, what's not serving you, what are you holding on to that you need to let go of so that you can launch into this next season of growth, whether it be, in the summer or the early fall or whatever it is. It's whatever you want it to be. Okay. You don't have to let the past dictate what the future is going to be. You can learn from the past, right? You can learn from it, but you don't have to repeat it.
It's
So
feedback in the process.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So be thinking about what's your next best step here. What is the belief or the offer or the story that you need to release so that you are open and you have the capacity to go and find what's next, to go create what's next, to go offer what you have to the world. You have to be able to do that with open hands and open heart. And it requires letting go of a past identity to do that, right? So if there's something that's not working anymore, what makes you think that it still fits? Be thinking about
What a great question. Repeat it for those in the back.
that. Yeah. So if it's not working anymore, what makes you think that it still fits? Because you are a growing human. You are evolving, right? You're taking in new information, right? And if you're in this professional, like I'm a huge professional development, and personal development junkie. I love it. But what I have found is that my shape doesn't fit in the same holes as it did in the past. Okay. So if
Graduated.
you're,
That high school
yeah,
graduation.
absolutely. Like as soon as you walk across that stage, high school senior does not apply. College freshman might,
Yeah.
you know, if you go into the military right out of high school. Maybe it's you're in boot camp, whatever it is, the identity as you're growing is going to shift. So let's not force what no longer fits. So, all right, Lena, take us home.
Well, I think we've shared some pretty basic yet profound points here, if I say so myself, because a lot of times we are so focused on past mistakes and future dreams that we forget that past brings a lot of value and wealth, and future is just tomorrow in the making. So I would say a couple of things just to recap. Your identity shapes your reality. What you believe will drive what you see, including your personal successes. And you can be respectful of the energy, the timing, and the schedule change of the summer, and also work with it to define what would you rather love instead of defaulting to somebody else's story that is not even yours. It's not even yours. Thank you so much for being with us.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us on the Momentum Podcast today.
We hope this episode inspired you to take your next best step toward building your life by design.
Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and hit that notification bell if you're watching us on YouTube at Momentum Podcast Live.
If you love what you heard, we'd be so grateful if you'd leave us a 5-star review. It helps us reach more amazing people like you and share this content far and wide.
You can also connect with us anytime at contact@momentumpodcast.live for questions, feedback, or just to say hi.
Keep designing the life you want, step by step.
And we'll be here to cheer you on. See you next time on the Momentum Podcast.